we have Donald Trump, who of course spent the past year trying to distract from his own massive failures on COVID by pretending that it's all China's fault. And so it's not just that he spent a year doing that. Literally last night on Fox News, this is what he had to say.
As I call it, the China virus, COVID.
Yeah, we know what COVID is. Yeah, we've been in this pandemic for a year now. We know what it is. But for him, the only important thing is that you know that it came from China and that you focus on China and the Chinese. And that honestly, what he said is less explicitly racist than most of the other nicknames. They're not just Donald Trump, but other members of his administration, as well as right-wing pundits who know that it's very easy in America to convert racism into crowdfunding and stuff like that. They spent the past year trying to get people worked up to hate Asians, and this has happened. And it's totally fine, totally legal, JR. They can just do that.
By the way, it doesn't have to be connected to anything with COVID in the way that Trump talks about China flu and Kung flu and all the things that these guys that were trying to push. By the way, they were just trying to push the responsibility of our response on the origins of the virus, right? Just because you've normalized these terms for certain people that follow you, or people that don't follow you, that just hear you. Just because you normalize those terms in this case doesn't mean it doesn't transfer over in them being lesser human beings in another case. No, this guy may have had absolutely no thoughts about COVID and connecting it, but he did have in his head the way that we've been talking about and treating Asian Americans just based off of this other issue. These things can be connected without someone directly saying, oh man, I went in that massage parlor and I went to kill a bunch of Asian folks because Donald Trump told me that the COVID is actually Kung flu and it came from China and all that stuff. It doesn't have to be all of that.
Yeah,
it's just enough of a seed is in your head and you don't have to value someone's life enough because we've downplayed them to this degree that you can then take it and use it for your own means in any way.
Exactly. Yeah, it doesn't have to be connected. I don't even know that it necessarily matters. It's like, yes, this is a very specific strain of racism that's been encouraged, but it also takes place in America, where that's hardly a new thing. I mean, there has been racism and discrimination against Asian Americans for as long as and before there was an America. So is it directly connected to the most like the very recent, very like explicit racism, or is it just the natural thing that would bubble up when you live in a country that's effectively a swamp of xenophobias, racisms, fears, suspicions, lusts, all of that? I don't know. Both are bad, and we should probably deal with both. But what is more likely to happen is we're gonna have a pointless, counterproductive conversation today about whether it was racist. All of the racists, I think, are gonna land on it wasn't racist, and they're gonna broadcast all day on Fox News. And do you seriously think that Tucker Carlson isn't going to do a segment tonight about how anti-Asian racism doesn't exist? Like, is he really gonna pass up this opportunity? This is a month that we're supposed to be sort of recognizing the contributions of women, and so far he's spent it attacking women and demonizing them, even service members. This was Asian women that were killed. You think he's not going to use that? He's 100% going to use that.
I look forward to see if this prediction falls together, comes together, because I hadn't thought about that, and it seems like it makes the most sense in the world for that to be the next step for Tucker tonight, because also it gets you attention. Candace Owens is having fights with Cardi B on Twitter because she wants more attention. She's like, oh, there's attention on this song that we revitalized now because the Grammys just happened. Now we have an opportunity to get my name out there and talk more. She'll interact with me and engage, and then we'll fight, and then I get a promotion as far as like promoting herself to more people seeing her. That's really where all this kind of lands, So you have your voice out there, make sure people hear, and then you get promoted. Who cares? There's money in appealing to the worst people in the country, and there's enough of them that it gets you some cash.
There's a ton, and they spend all their time watching Fox News and on Twitter. Yeah, he's not gonna come out and say you should go and you should shoot up a massage parlor. He's never gonna say anything that explicit. What he's gonna say is they're trying to police your thought by saying you can't call it China flu. They're saying that if you have problems with China, that you're not great. Why would they do that to you? Great patriots, you should stay. He'll do that because that's what they want to hear, and he will provide it to them. He will ask a bunch of dumb rhetorical questions He will provide plausible deniability for racists. That is all that the program actually is. And all of his viewers will leave today not thinking, oh dear God, what have we unleashed on America? Maybe we should do something about this. These are like my fellow citizens, they deserve to live. No, they'll end with, yeah, I should be able to criticize China. Why do they stop me when I try to criticize China? That's what's gonna happen. That is his contribution to American culture, and you're gonna see it on display tonight.
For more political news, breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.